Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So happy to see so many first-year students joining us this afternoon, as well as our panel members. This is the first time that we have hosted a virtual upper year panel discussion, and I'm really excited. I find that these student-to-student interactions are absolutely the most beneficial in terms of messaging, learning, advice, and tips, because these are the people who've been doing exactly what you're going to be doing in the next couple of months. For those of you who weren't on the session last week, my name is Amanda Halton. I'm the Career Development and Experiential Learning Facilitator, and I specifically work with the first-year business students in the School of Business, and focusing right now on all the pre-arrival orientation and the first few weeks of the semester to get you up and running, helping you confirm your program choice, or helping you decide maybe there's another program for you that works better. We are recording all of these so that we can send them out to you if you're not able to have been on the call today. So that will be sent out after the meeting is over. And without further ado, I think we'll get going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over. Maybe Leighton, I'll start with you. You can introduce yourself and your program and anything personal you want to add so students get to know you.
Absolutely. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us all today. I see a collection of some familiar faces and some people I don't know. For those that don't know me, my name is Leighton. I am a fifth-year Bachelor of Business Administration student here at St. Lawrence College. I'm a recent business administration marketing grad. A couple years ago, I decided to carry on with the BBA just to give myself a whole well-rounded education. If you guys have the chance, I strongly encourage you to do so as well. It makes you very employable in society. And it gives you a lot of skills that give you a whole well-rounded education that employers are looking for. So a little bit about me. I'm 30 years old. I am a former oil field paramedic. I used to work in Northern Alberta. I worked up there until oil crashed, and then I decided to come back to Kingston, where my family is. Looked into getting a different type of job, something a bit more sustainable that didn't go up and down with the price of oil. So I decided on business. I like to think I'm good with people and networking and marketing. So I went that route because I like to learn how to sell stuff to people and why things sell. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with the psychology behind it. So I thought that was the best route for me. And I'd be happy to answer any of your questions as to why you think that might be the best route for yourself as well. So I left my email up in the chat a few minutes ago. So give me a shout if you'd like me to answer any questions on my personal experience at school or any of the classes I've taken, anything like that. But welcome to everybody. I hope you guys have a fantastic first year. I know it's going to be very, very different. So there's going to be some learning challenges for everybody. But I'm proud of you all for taking the leap and joining us. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun and learn a lot. So welcome, and thank you for letting me speak.
Thanks, Leighton. Bisma, do you want to go next?
Yeah, for sure. So hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Bisma, and I am going into my third year of the Advertising and Marketing Communications Management program. So the program actually starts off with 2 years, and then you have the option of turning it into an advanced diploma if you go for the management side of things as well. I don't know really what else I could add to that. I'm also part of Enactus, which is a really cool club that you guys should definitely check out if you want to get involved with helping others in the community and helping learn more about business and getting loads of hands-on experience. You should definitely check out Enactus as well. And thank you for having me as part of this panel. I'm really looking forward to getting to know everyone.
Great, thank you so much. Welcome. All right, Ben, you're up.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ben Prager. I am a second-year business administration accounting student. I chose business administration accounting because I wanted to get into finance, and so ultimately I will do the BBA, and it creates a very, very seamless path to enter the field. One of the things that you'll find me around the college doing is a part of Enactus. That's how I know Bisma, as well as I peer tutor. It's a really enriching experience that I'd recommend to anyone who has the opportunity to do. It really helps you kind of stay focused on the material you're learning and get to meet some other people from your program and some of the other business streams. And yeah, I'm also a board member of the board of directors for the Student Association. So if you ever see me around, make sure to say hi. I left my email in the chat.
Great. Thank you, Ben. Jega, you're up.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Jagavir Pandian. You can call me Jega. It's a pleasure connecting with you all. So I'm currently doing my third semester in Business Analytics, International Stream. So International Stream has 4 semesters and the domestic stream has 3 semesters in Business Analytics. So I'm also currently serving as a president of Big Data and Artificial Intelligence Club. It might attract you if you're tech savvy. So that's it about myself. And I have a chemical engineering background back in India. And then I have almost 3 years and 2 months of IT experience back in India. And then I decided to pursue business analytics program here. And I haven't regretted this decision. I'm thoroughly enjoying this program and the culture here. So looking forward to getting connected with you all. My name is there in the chat. You can reach me anytime you want and get connected in LinkedIn as well. My name is pretty hard to sense, but once you type in, you can definitely get my name. That would be the first to pop in.
Thank you so much. Brian.
Hi, how's everyone doing today? So like everyone else, I've a couple of other people. I've had some previous careers going forward, and actually with Leighton, we're co-hosts, some of the hosts for the SA Engage Voice podcast this year, which I'm very excited to be a part of. I'm also part of the Business Administration Accounting program, and like Ben, I'm hoping to pursue my BBA going forward. After that, I'm not sure what I want to do, but I'm just enjoying this program a lot so far, and enjoying the chance to meet with a lot of other like-minded people. So far, I found the program to be great, and as you can see behind me, I'm a huge Raptors fan, and that's about it so far. So thank you.
Awesome. We are the North. Alice, do you want to tell everybody what you do?
Yes, sure. So my name is Wenjun. You can also call me Alice. I am also in Business Analytics International Stream. So I will be joining Jagan in the fall for our final semester. And I am also the International Peer Mentor Assistant in the Business of School. So I also created teams support groups. So I'm still inviting more new students in there. If you have questions, I also put my email in the chat, or you can just type in that group. So when I see it, I will reply to you as soon as possible. So I've been here since last year, so I know how international students feel, and I would like to help you to get adapted sooner or more comfortable to Canada or online learning, I would say. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much, everybody, for offering up and volunteering your time. Before we get jumping into the questions, I just want to say that all students get an opportunity to do these types of sessions throughout their time at the college. However, that becomes up to you to actually do it. And I think Leighton said sort of a congratulations for joining the call today. I just want to reiterate that is like kudos to you, because there's so many others who didn't, and not necessarily they're just not available, but that you are here today and taking the first steps in the success to your future and your education. And absolutely, we see the most success from students who start to do these things ahead of time. So again, congratulations to all of you for joining us today. I think that we won't go in typically order of the questions I had sent to the panel members, but really, I think that if somebody has experience with the transition to online learning, these students are going to be experiencing that right from the get-go. So I'm not sure if there's one of you who wants to start that conversation about your experience and how it went and what types of advice you could provide to students. Ben? Let's hear it.
Yeah, so with the online learning, it's critical to understand how Blackboard works. And to any new incoming students, you'll quickly learn that there's Blackboard tutorials available. I'd highly recommend doing that because it'll get you familiar with the platform and just sort of how to submit things, how to make sure that you're following deadlines, and just really being prepared. Another thing that I'll say that was different from the transition from in-class to online learning was really kind of taking an onus on your learning and reaching out to professors, reaching out to peers when things aren't totally clear. Because typically, if you're not getting it, someone else might not be getting it. And so if everyone's too timid to kind of reach out, you don't get that help with that material. So I think just being really active in your own learning style is really critical to being successful with the online learning.
Great. Brian, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I back up what Ben said. Taking control of your learning is going to be essential, absolutely. And I think as much as you can, it's going to be harder for incoming students because they don't have prior relationships. So try to take advantage of discussion boards and take advantage of whenever you can to make a relationship with your fellow students is going to be integral to your success. So make WhatsApp group chats, just email chains, just anything you can do to try to create that experience of networking and creating that common bond with your students, I think is going to be huge to success in now and going forward in your careers. So.
You talked about networking. Do you have any personal experiences, Brian, with how networking happened for you in your first year?
I kind of, sometimes it happened just naturally. It was just, the people that are sitting next to you. So that's the kind of thing that's gonna be hard to do. But I don't know, over time I found that there are people that I naturally gravitated towards, or I noticed some people were excelling or were struggling a little bit, and I would make the effort to make connections with them just to try to strengthen the bonds with your classmates and take it from someone that you see across the class to someone that at least you know their name and knows a little bit something about them. And that really helps with the process, I find.
Excellent. That's great advice. Jega.
Yeah, I would just like to add upon the what panel said. I am assuming that a lot of students might have a feeling that they might miss something when we are shifting from offline to online medium. So I just want to ensure that that there is nothing to actually bother about. This is a great platform, and it's also in my perspective, I feel this is very important in our industry as well, specifically talking about the technical industry where we work on a different corner of the world, connecting with the rest of the world, and most of the communication is going to happen through online medium. So I feel this is a great platform, and this is very productive as well in my personal opinion. So yeah, I just wanted to ensure that there's nothing you're going to miss. This is going to be a great opportunity to network as well.
Great. Did you want to add on to that, Bisma?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think someone already brought this up, but I definitely think you should build a schedule. I think that's what helped a lot of people in my program as we were getting nearer to deadlines. I think even if you are having classes in person or whether they're online, definitely build a schedule. So you have time to do your homework, you have time to attend your classes, you have time to socialize, and don't stretch yourself too thin as well. I think that's a very important thing. Yeah.
Yes, that's very good advice, especially when it comes to balancing your studies plus working. We find some students take on almost a full-time job on top of a full-time course load, and that can get kind of tricky. Would any of you like to speak to working online when you can basically do the work at any point in time? So it's not like a class. So it's not like Monday morning at 8:30 you have to be sitting in a seat and a teacher's looking you in the eye. Who can speak to that? Jega, do you have any advice for students?
Bisma, you want to go ahead? I can continue if that's okay.
Oh, you can go first. It's cool.
Yeah. So personally, I'm a person who actually gets motivated by meeting people or get energized by meeting new faces. But that's the only topic which I see. But on the other hand, this has a lot of benefit. Like I can see a lot of people online. So I have also done a little bit of research on this, where I tend to often communicate with the people over LinkedIn or Teams. They tend to be online more. So that's very productive for me in the aspect of building my network and getting my sharing my knowledges and getting their feedback as well. So I don't think I'm really missing anything here, if I answer that.
Bisma, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think even if you do have online classes and I think definitely, as I just said before, you should definitely make a schedule, even if you do have online classes and courses where you can complete it in your own time. I think it's still important to build a routine to your day and build that schedule, and then fit in time where you can socialize and get your work done as well. I think that would be very, like, that's quite beneficial, because I find like it helps get you motivated, and like definitely joining group chats or with colleagues in your program, that would help as well, because it helps you kind of ask questions and network. So those two things.
Leighton, I'm going to put this question to you. How do you manage distractions? So we all sit down on our computer, and Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or Netflix is calling our names, and we all know that it's endless scrolling, and next thing we know, deadlines are passed or we have less time.
Sorry, you kind of cut out there. What was the question, Amanda?
Just how do you manage distractions around like social media, Netflix? You know, you're on the computer.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question. I think it's very relevant to the student body. We're so surrounded by distractions every single day, and what it comes down to is just self-discipline. You need to be able to put the phone away, to put the TV away, and just know that, like Bisma said, you need to get into a good routine. You need to wake up every day, have your shower, put on your work clothes, and sit down at the table and do your work. You need to get in that routine, because it builds a psychological connection in your brain where you know that this is work time, you get your work done, and then you can continue on. But managing distractions is a huge part for everybody, but it's also a great chance for you to practice self-discipline. And I know you won't be physically in classes this year, so having your phone nearby or having Netflix on in the background is going to be a huge temptation. But what I can recommend is something called the Pomodoro technique, and that is 90 minutes of straight work, and then you take a 20-minute break, 90 minutes work, 20-minute break, and then you take another about half-hour work, and then you take an hour break. So it's a big chunk of about 3-4 hours at a time. Allows you to be very productive, but your brain can only go for about 90 minutes at a time. So I highly recommend trying something like that this year.
Fantastic. Thank you for that example of a tool to use for getting through the workday, because we all struggle with that. And I agree. If you get up and have a routine of getting dressed and having a space that's dedicated to your work, it's away from where you would socialize or watch TV, can really help with your own success. We know this will be a challenge for everybody, as faculty and staff are also trying to balance this new norm right now. Next thing I think we should move into is, in terms of schedules, class time, extracurriculars, we in the School of Business really promote getting involved. And Bisma, you talked about Enactus in particular. I know some of you are on board of directors. We talked about the podcast, getting involved, peer tutoring. Can you just speak a little bit about any one of these things in terms of why you did what you did and how that connects you to your future career? Leighton? Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. So one of the things that you guys, I'm highly recommending you do, and you should do, is do things on campus and meet people that are going to set you apart. You're going to be graduating with 13,000 students in Ontario alone in a couple years from marketing, business, and HR programs. What are you going to do that's going to set you apart? What's going to be on your resume? What's going to be on your volunteer work? What are you going to do that is going to get you a job after graduation? Because like I said, there's thousands of other students out there just like you. They all want jobs. They all want future careers. But what are you willing to do in the next 2 to 3 years to set yourself apart? And this is your time to shine. So volunteer, go on board of directors, help out with school projects and initiatives, peer tutor, found a club. I mean, there's literally a dozen things you can do. And like I said, they're so beneficial because it's the little things in between the lines of your resume that gets you hired. And like I said, if you don't do anything significant, your chances aren't zero, but they're not going to be as high as they could be if you don't do things extracurricular wise. And as Amanda has spoken to, the students that are more involved in school, that are helping out with all the things that I previously just said, are the ones that get jobs and are the ones that are recognized and are the ones that seem to go on and do some pretty cool things. So my advice to you guys on day one is get involved as much as you can over the next couple of years, because it will make your transition into the workplace much, much easier.
Absolutely. Thanks, Leighton, for that. I know you have personal experience with all of those things, and you've had some really great outcomes from it. Bisma, did you want to add and talk about Enactus?
Yeah, I just wanted to generally say as well, the more you branch out from just your program, like there's so many clubs on campus. I'm sure there's something that would definitely be of interest to you. And honestly, it really helps with building those solid connections that help you just outside of your network that you have just in your classes. It definitely helps you expand your network. It helps you gain new experiences, and it's just, yeah. And specifically with Enactus, it's a club which focuses on entrepreneurial action and helping people who like we help people with a lot of things. Like for example, we help them with branding, or we help with projects such as cookbooks and just helping the community in general. But it has a very entrepreneurial kind of face to it. So you kind of help with marketing and help the community with things like that. And it helps run programs as well, like that connect to the community. So Enactus is like one of just many of the clubs on campus, and I would definitely recommend, like as Leighton said, I would definitely recommend joining a club. It really sets you apart from your peers, and it helps you build really good connections and just kind of learn more about yourself and learn more about what you yourself are interested in, because you have classes, but then you should also, it would be good to gain other experience as well.
That's great. Also, things like Enactus are globally recognized. So when you have that on a resume, it speaks volumes about who you are and what you've been involved with. And a lot of people are looking for students that have more than just the diploma or the degree. Ben, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think with any sort of extracurricular participation, it's really important to follow what interests you and to try to follow things where you feel like you can gain relevant skills. Because we ultimately only have so much time in the day, so you can't do everything as much as you might want to. So it's really just sort of identifying those things that you align with or that can help you grow professionally and personally, and pursuing them. So whether that be tutoring or Enactus or any other club or extracurricular involvement, it's really just trying to help pair with your schooling and give you some of that sort of experiential learning. Excellent.
I think that's a great point, that your diploma or degree is the same piece of paper everybody will receive, and kind of what Leighton said, it's what you do to partner that to get the job, to make you stand out. And going back to where Bisma spoke about clubs, if there's a club that doesn't interest you, create one. We've had many first-year students create one, and often they are ones that grow and become 10 years down the road. But first-year students also underestimate themselves, and they'll sit back and wait and think, oh, I want to, figure out my classes, my courses. Don't do that. That is probably my number one piece of advice, is get involved and get involved early, because it will actually enhance your learning and you'll do better in your classes if you're engaged outside of the classroom. Brian, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think everyone more or less spoke to what I was going to say, but just, it doesn't always have to be through school either. Just getting out, just developing any hobby in any form of fashion you can, like taking advantage of things like Khan Academy, any kind of upskilling or learning a new skill, recycling skills. Like there's a lot of things you can do to just help you grow as a person and just to learn from your experiences. Like recently I'm trying to dabble a little bit in blogging and journalism, because that's a skill that I'm very much interested in. Now, will I use it professionally in terms of being a journalist? Probably not. But the ability to read and write at a high level is always going to be useful. And it's something that's just a passion for me. So it's just, find some sort of hobby outside of your professional life and develop that, and who knows where it can grow. So
that's a really good point, Brian. Speaking about passion, you need to do what you like. And I think that when you sign up for school, sometimes you first off, you take a program because you think that it's what you like to do or you're good at something. And then, what happens if you're in the wrong program? What happens if, you're like, uh-oh, mom or dad said I should be doing accounting, but you know what? This is just not me. I'm not feeling it. Bisma, how would you help students in that case?
So for me, myself, I actually went to a different school for a totally different program, and I didn't end up liking it. And so I dropped out, and then I came to SLC. And honestly, it was scary at the time. Like, you may feel, if you're stuck in a program that you don't necessarily like, you may feel like, how do I get out of this? And I really don't like where I'm going. And I feel so stuck, and I'm scared to tell my parents. But honestly, I definitely would say, tell your parents, tell them that you don't like what you're doing and that you want to change, because it's better to find something that you love doing that doesn't feel like a job to you, rather than doing something where you feel stuck and you're going to be miserable throughout life. With your passion, you can go way further rather than doing something that you are just so with, I'd say. And for me personally, honestly, changing programs and changing schools was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I'm so much happier, and I can definitely always attest to that. So if you do feel like you're in the wrong program, I would definitely recommend reaching out to a teacher, reaching out to a friend, your parents, just telling them that you don't necessarily like where you're at, and going to a counselor, figuring out a route on how you can change programs, how you can do something more that you're more passionate towards. Yeah.
That's awesome. Interesting enough, as you talked about that, your whole body language changed, and I could even see that virtually. I've witnessed this in my office many times, where students come in and say, yeah, but I'm going into third year of marketing, and oh, my friends are in accounting, and their whole body lights up. And I'm like, well, why are you not in accounting? Well, I just have one more year of marketing. And I'm like, yeah, but you love accounting, I can tell. So it is so true to do what you love, and it becomes not a job anymore.
Yeah.
Jega, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I would like to add up to what Bisma said. Thank you so much, Bisma, for sharing your experience. Even myself, I'm from a chemical engineering grad, and then completely landing up in a different stream in IT industry. So it is actually the clubs which we're talking about is actually a great platform to just pitch in and exercise our skill set and try to find out whether this will exactly suit our needs or not. So that will be a great place for experimenting our passion, as Brian said. So yeah, feel free to pitch in and just try to explore what you're trying to do, and then if it fits well and good, you can proceed with that. If not, then probably you can try a different string. Nothing wrong in trying that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what learning is. I made a little note in the chat there that the first year business students in marketing, HR, accounting, and general business, they all have the same first year, which we do purposely because you can switch in and amongst those programs easily, because sometimes you just don't know. A lot of students come to St. Lawrence and don't even know what human resources is. And how do you not know that you love that? So there's opportunities to move within the programs and explore. And partly that's what my job is, to help confirm or help you change your mind. I think I want to dive a little bit into some of the classroom classes, being a student here on campus. And I just want to know, what in your opinion sets St. Lawrence College apart? Like, as a new student, what was something that your wow moment of, like, I belong here, this is where I'm meant to be? Bisma.
Just how accommodating and warm all the counselors, all the teachers, just all the staff is. They honestly make you feel really, really welcome from the get-go, and you can just go to them whenever you have any concern, even if it's like the smallest thing. I've sat in my teachers' offices and cried. Like, that tells you just how much they care and how much they're willing to go the extra mile for you. I think that's for me was very, very important, that I wanted to build that connection with my teachers, and I wanted to know that I was going to a place where I would be able to approach anyone if I had any concern, and I would be led to where I needed to go to get that help. So
thank you for sharing that. That's lovely. Brian, have you had experiences like that?
Yeah, for me, coming in as a mature student who had a career before this, basically with our initial talk from Shayla Ellsworth Spink, she talked about how people's careers are not linear, and how she ended up to the point she is saying right now she's Dean of School of Business. And I found it was fascinating, and that just made me feel really warm and welcome, and kind of like it was a good, I guess, like a guidepost, like a kind of like a path forward where you can see how it doesn't have to be that linear way that you're taught in high school. Where it's like, oh, you go to school, you get a job, And so that, and then to have that backed up by almost every teacher we've had throughout the year, talking about how they got this path where it wasn't linear, and they decided to do this first and then this, and they learned this skill that led them down something, a different path they never thought. And I think it's a really inclusive, welcoming, and warm environment, and just full of people that are very multifaceted. And I find that to be very interesting. So.
Good point. I think that on so many different levels, School of Business is very diverse in terms of students, faculty, the paths that we all take to get to where we are, where we started. And there's a lot of learning to be done through that. Ben, what's your experience? Oh, you're still on mute.
As far as following a nonlinear path, I've definitely done that. But what really attracted me to St. Lawrence is not so much the curriculum, because from college to college, the curriculum pretty well stays the same, but it's the community. So it's the people in the class, and having relatively small class sizes that allow you to develop that close rapport with your peers, and professors that are willing to bend over backwards for you and provide opportunities if you show an interest in them. It's really what makes it special. And I think I'm in a much better spot going to St. Lawrence than I am going to another college because of that.
That's great. Brian, did you have your hand up to add to that? No, okay. Bisma, did you want to add to that? Your hand's up as well.
Oh, it is? Sorry. Let me just
That's
lower
okay.
it.
Okay. This is technology at its finest. So I think that another piece that students find surprising is writing. And I want you to maybe give some input in terms of how much writing is involved in your classes and how important writing is to, extracurriculars, how it's related to your future careers, and what can you provide to the students on that? Ben.
So you'll obviously have some classes that are a little more heavily involved with writing, specifically classes like communications. However, even classes like accounting, where you're not expecting to do a lot of writing, you're still going to be communicating with your professors, with your classmates. So there is a writing component. And I think it's always important to keep that professionalism bit in the back of your mind, because you never know who might down the road be an opportunity or someone that provides you with access to an opportunity. And yeah, the writing's definitely a piece to all courses. To what degree is different for each, but yeah, and if writing's a concern for you, there is the academic writing center as well. So there are resources on campus to improve your writing if you feel like you don't have the skills the same skills as some of your peers. So it's regardless, you have opportunities, and you have opportunities to improve.
Yeah. The reason I asked this question is in previous years, we've done a writing panel. We've brought back graduates to speak about how important writing is in their careers. And it doesn't matter what program we're speaking to, there is lots of writing to be had. If you think about how much communication now is through email, and it can be challenging if you've been texting all summer long, and now you have to actually write a professional email that is, starts with hello and ends with thank you, and not TY and hey and an emoji. There is a bit of a transition there, and our faculty are going to hold you to that. So it's good to practice up that. Alice, do you want to make a comment? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I thought I already unmuted, but obviously I didn't. So I know in business program, no matter what, we used to write a lot of papers and emails a lot. And Writing Center is really good resources. I've been there so many times. As an international student, I know, especially English is not my first language. So I will always having grammar problems throughout my life. So Writing Center is really a good resources. Just every time if you have a question or you write a paper, which you still think you want a second opinion, so just book an appointment with the Writing Center and they will really help you out. And it will let you know more, and you're having better writings afterward.
That's great. I'm sure all of us have sent an email that maybe we wished we had slept on. and hit reply a little too quickly, or what about reply all? We all get those emails. And sometimes I think we should have training before people are allowed to have that button. But this has been great because I think there's a lot of writing to be had. And I just want to maybe ask for your input on how accepting is the School of Business in terms of making mistakes? Anybody want to, Leighton? Go for it.
Yeah, you guys are students and you're about to join the School of Business, a lot of you. This is your time to fail safely. This is your time to get out of your boundaries, make mistakes, and know that even if you fail, it's not the end of the world. You're not going to lose your job. You're not going to lose your house. You might not do so well on a project, but use it as a learning experience because it's going to make you a better student and a better professional. And like I said, you can fail safely. Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's going to make fun of you. You're not going to be ostracized. People in the School of Business, especially the professors, know that students don't know everything. That's why they're students. You're allowed to fail, and at St. Lawrence College and across the country, you're allowed to fail safely in college. It doesn't mean you're going to be expelled, but use this time to be creative, push your boundaries, and understand that even if you fail a project or an assignment or make a mistake, that's okay because this is your time to do it. And wouldn't you rather do it the next couple of years than 10 years from now when you're working at an accounting firm and you make a mistake for a client that could cost you millions of dollars? I mean, it just kind of comes down to perspective and making sure that you understand you're okay if you fail a few things in the next couple of years because that's life and that's going to happen, and use it as a learning experience for sure.
Absolutely. That's very important. Who here on the panel, if you can just put your physical hand up, likes to be comfortable? So the magic happens when you're uncomfortable. And you're going to hear that through all different voices, faculty, and you're going to experience that. The moments that you're uncomfortable is when you're going to have the most growth and you're going to make the most of your education. And so it's really hard sometimes to step out of that comfort zone because even in my career, been graduated for a very long time from this program, we like to be comfortable. It's human nature. But we all know that when you're uncomfortable is when we grow the most. Brian, you've maybe had some experience with that?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Sometimes it is terrifying jumping with both feet, but that's when you actually learn. And just like with schooling, you're going to learn the most when you fail. So one of the things that a lot of people do is they prepare for the test. So you kind of like you study the same thing again and again. You learn it in sections, but you're not actually learning that way, right? You have to do things in different ways. You have to try to do a lot of different things at once, and that's what's going to help make things stick and actually set them into your brain instead of just trying to do rote memorization. So just be uncomfortable and put yourself out there and see what happens.
Sorry, may I go ahead?
Sorry, I couldn't get off mute. Yeah, Jake, please go ahead.
Yeah, so sorry about that. Just wanted to add my experience on the coming out of my comfort zone as well. Probably most of you in the chat have already done a good thing in deciding to come out of your comfort zone, especially the international students here. So just like to congratulate you on that. And then I have actually undergone a tough time in coming out of my comfort zone, specifically leaving a better job, a stable income specifically, and then choosing to improve my career and getting a better exposure internationally. I believe that is the best thing which I did. And after coming here to SLC, it was actually a great environment where I came with a lot of fear here, but the culture and the people here made me really, really comfortable and supported in actually getting back to my comfort zone in another way to explore myself more. So yeah, I just wanted to congratulate you guys on making the first decision.
Thank you. I think that's really important. That's awesome to hear student to student. They've submitted a couple of questions, and I thought maybe some of you could answer. One of the questions was, how do you take tests online? Did any of you have to, Ben?
So it ultimately is up to the professor. It can usually follow a few different formats. Some that I've experienced was where you would be emailed the test, and you'd be required to complete it within a certain time frame, and then either scan and email it or take photos of it and email it back to the professor. As well as sometimes there are tests embedded within Blackboard, that learning platform for all your courses. So you'd be physically doing it on those. Typically it's, short answer or multiple choice questions. So it ultimately depends on what type of evaluation method is being used and just the preferences of your professors.
Okay. Another one is about school schedule. So we talked a little bit of this in the beginning, but in terms of the schedule, students are asking, can they still work? I know a lot of you are working and doing school. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how many hours or how you balance that, what types of jobs you had. Ben?
Yeah, so I actually hold a couple jobs outside of my classwork. So I work as a peer tutor at the college. Typically, you're allowed up to 12 hours a week. Typically, it's much less than that just because of students available for tutoring. However, I also do about 20 hours a week at the airport. And it's difficult at times juggling it, but ultimately, if you're developing the time management skills, and creating a schedule is really important for that, to be able to identify what are going to be times that are going to conflict with each other and avoiding them. So I think just really kind of being proactive and planning ahead is how you can balance schoolwork with school itself, because we're students first, but some of us have bills that we need to pay, and you have to navigate those challenges carefully.
Absolutely. I think that we can all agree that being a student is your full-time job, and we often don't call you students when you start. We look at you as a business professional, and this is your job for the next 1, 2, or 3 years to get you ready to really get out into the real world. Jaga, did you have any input on that? Oh, you're on mute.
My bad.
That's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, adding to what Ben said, part-time job, yeah, being a student itself takes a priority, but still having a part-time job helps you to handle your calendar effectively. That's a in-demand professional skill which you might require, and you can also get a lot of chance for networking. Personally, I'm a business analytics technician in college. I work 18 hours per week and also doing an internship at Queen's. So this actually helped me to handle a diverse profile basically. So I think this is a great opportunity to help build your day being productive, and of course SLC is going to be a great helpful support in making a journey towards that.
Excellent, thank you. We had a question about communication skills and becoming more confident, and Bisma has responded and talked a little bit Toastmasters. Are any of you part of Toastmasters, and could you maybe give a little Cole's notes on what it's all about? Leighton, you're nodding your head, Kit?
Yeah, I was a member of Toastmasters for a few months in my first year. And Toastmasters is an international organization that is geared toward people helping them with presentations and public speaking. So if it's something, if it's an area that you know is a weakness for you, I highly recommend you check it out. Christina DeCarey is our faculty advisor for that club. She is a wonderful lady and a faculty member here. You'll meet her and you'll get to know her in the first year. But Toastmasters has clubs all over the world. They have one here at St. Lawrence College, one at Queen's, and one downtown Kingston. And basically, it just helps you with speaking. It helps you with your voice. It helps you with your pausing. It helps you with your tone of voice. And it just gets you ready for public speaking engagements, presentations. I know if you guys are in marketing, you will be doing a lot of presentations, because that's a lot of what you'll be doing in the real working world, is presenting to clients. So it just helps you kind of gain the confidence needed to become a better public speaker, a better presenter, and an overall better speaker of the English language. So I know They do poetry, they read from books, they do plays, they do presentations, like I said, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not too sure of the format and how it will be run during the pandemic. I know that they used to hold meetings 1 p.m. every Wednesday. I don't know what that looks like, but you can go to toastmasters@sl.on.ca, email them, and I'm sure they'd be able to let you know. But I highly recommend checking it out, as it was an interesting group and highly beneficial for a lot of us.
Probably the most supportive group for making any kind of mistakes, because everyone who's there is afraid of presenting. And I'm sure a lot of you watching this right now are thinking, oh, presentations, and that they can be very scary. Alice, did you want to make a comment about Toastmasters or communication skills? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. So except Toastmaster, there's also English Conversation Club. So there basically are a lot of international students and also domestic speakers. So they are previously they're meeting every week. So people can go there in person to talk about it and practicing their communication skill or English. But I'm not too sure about the schedule in the fall. If I know more, I can still sending out the contact information for that club also.
That would be great. Thank you, Alice, so much for that. We've got about 10 minutes left, and I think that one of the questions I wanted you to answer was a little bit about off-campus. So this year, we've got this alternative delivery. Most likely, we will not be having any classes on campus in the fall for our School of Business, because we are able to do online learning. But we will still have students in our community, and we'll still have students living here. Where would you guys recommend, sites to see, something to do, somewhere to study, knowing that, not everywhere is open because of the current pandemic and situation? But Bisma, where do you go?
Okay, this isn't necessarily for studying, but it is a really nice little place where people can hang out and socialize. So there's this gaming cafe called Wonderland. It's a really cozy place. They have all sorts of games, and it's a really fun place to hang out with your friends, to get networking. I definitely recommend going there.
Yeah, and that's not very far from the college. What about you, Alex?
So because of the hot weather, I went to two downtown's ice cream shop very often. One's the Gelato, and another one's White Mountain. And usually it's like in the afternoon or night, and then my friends and I will just having the ice cream and walk down the waterfront for some exercising or socializing and just feeling the wind and also the water and the sunset. It's pretty nice if you guys have time and still go there.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with ice cream and being downtown on the water.
Yep.
Ben, what's one of your favorite spots?
So with Kingston, like you're really lucky to be at the waterfront. Like it's a beautiful city. If you're looking to meet other students, a really great spot would actually be Gord Downey Pier. A lot of Queens and St. Lawrence students go there. It's right on the water. Beautiful, a little beach area for you to actually go in, or just play some games and meet some new friends. It's a good spot, and I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, and again, not the college is in a great location where it's kind of central to many of these spots being downtown or the Gord Downey Pier. Jaga, do you have a favorite spot?
Yeah, I love going to the City of Kingston office, or it's called Mayor's office. Maybe a bit different, but I enjoy being there. I come to know the rich history of this city, beautiful city. So I have learned a lot about this city there, and people were explaining me about the culture and what the ports or the lighthouses which are. So I personally enjoy that, and I always love going there and probably take a walk at the beach.
Leighton, do you have a favorite spot? You're on mute. Now you're on mute.
There we go. I just put it in the chat, but yeah, thank you for asking me. For those of you who are new to town was founded in 1673 as Fort Frontenac. It later became Kingston in 1783. So to say that this city is rich in history is an understatement. I mean, you're surrounded by Native peoples. You've got Wolfe Island, you've got Fort Henry, you've got Queen's Campus, Royal Military College, and of course St. Lawrence. So there's so many rich history things here that you can sink your teeth into. Tons of museums, and I really recommend trying them all because it's going to take you a few months to see and learn everything there is to learn about Kingston. And being one of the oldest settlements in Canada, if not North America, is super cool and unique to us, and we're proud of that. And I think you can just get a sense of the history that's here when you walk downtown and along the waterfront, along Old Princess Street. Make sure you try all that, and it will kind of give you a creative boost, kind of give you a sense of home, kind of think that, okay, Kingston is my home now, and it's a beautiful city, and I really recommend you make the most out of it. So go downtown for sure.
Awesome. We've got about 5 minutes left, and I just wanted to pass on, ask you guys, what's that burning piece of advice that, if you knew then what you know now, could you pass on? Bisma, that was a quick hand.
I really knew what I wanted to say.
You go for it.
Okay, so one thing definitely is just getting involved in clubs. Honestly, I joined Enactus in my second year, and that's one thing that I regret so much. Why didn't I join in my first year? You may be shy, it might be out of your comfort zone, but joining a club really gives you another community to be a part of. It really helps you kind of expand your network. It helps you make new friends. It helps you kind of discover what other things you're into. And you might have hobbies that don't necessarily align with what you're studying, and then joining a club kind of gives you an opportunity to still take part in those hobbies and still meet new people, make new friends, and just experience new things.
Great. Jaga, what about you?
The one thing I would like to tell is don't feel bad to reach out to everybody. In fact, my first journey started here when I reached to the director of my program. So that's where he was so surprised, and he was so curious, and he just literally grabbed my hands and introduced to a lot of other faculties who were able to guide me better, and that's where my actual my dream project started, which I'm currently doing now. So yeah, feel free to reach anybody. I'm sure they will help us, or they can at least direct you to the best person who can help you.
Yeah, that's great. I agree with that. Brian, any advice, last words?
Just try to make. I actually really agree with what both Bisma and Jack said. Just reach out to people if you can, and even if you feel awkward, that first step's important. And especially in this current climate, everyone's gonna be feeling like that. So if you feel like it's awkward to be making that first step, everyone else is too, because they're not making that same step. So if you're the one who does it, you're helping create a better discourse and connections with people, and that's what really matters. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a major difference. Ben.
So like everyone else, I'm a big advocate for putting yourself out there, but that's not what I'm actually going to talk about. If any of you have a chance to figure out your learning style, whether it's audio, visual, or kinesthetic, definitely do that. Do that as early on in your academic career as you can, because that will help you study smarter, work smarter instead of just working harder. Ultimately, you still need to put in the work, but knowing how that works best for you will put you miles above your peers. There's tons of online tools that you can use to assess what type of learning style you have. And that was a big game changer for me.
Good point. Alice, you're on mute.
So if you're shy, just take us one small step at a time. So no matter it's like, if you are not willing to just liking us having like the video chat or just text or chat or email, that's fine, then you can moving forward. But if you don't do that, you will still in the nut forever. You need to really take the first step.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And Leighton, did I miss you? Did you want to add any piece of advice, last words?
Yeah, thank you, man, for organizing this. I think this was super beneficial. But my piece of advice, like I said, and I'll reiterate it again because I can't stress it enough, get involved. Do something that will set you apart because, like I said, you're what are you going to do that's going to set you apart? Are you going to join a club? Are you going to found a club? Are you going to get a campus job? Are you going to join Enactus? Do something because it will make the rest of your life and your job search so much easier. So if you need any advice with that, feel free to reach out to me or anybody on this panel. Would be really happy to help you guys. We all want to see you succeed and have an awesome time. And hopefully in 2 or 3 years' time, you'll be in our seats on this panel. And that's what we want for everybody. So it's all about helping others and helping other people succeed. And I wish the best for you guys, but get involved because now's your chance.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing your experiences, your advice, taking time out of your busy schedules to, connect with the first year students. This has been absolutely amazing. Next week, we're holding something very similar, but with graduates. So we'll be, talking a little bit about the real world and the transition to that. But I really do appreciate all of you, and I, thank you for sharing your contact information for these students here so they can connect and already start growing their network. It's been really awesome. And thanks again to all the first years for signing up today. Really, really appreciate it. Reach out to me if you have any other questions. I will send the recording out to everybody so you can view it again or share it, and those who weren't able to join us can view it as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Amira. Thanks all for joining.
Bye. Thank you. Great to see you all.
Thank you, ma'am.